Please welcome President and CEO of the Oklahoma chapter, Mark Freed.
Volunteers fuel the efforts of the Alzheimer's Association. And during my 11 years working for this organization, I've come to recognize that there are some people that are just one of those volunteers. You know what I mean? They go above and beyond what we ask them to do. They're passionate, they're eager to be a part of our mission, and they're always willing to do whatever is necessary to change the world. Well, Herb Magley is one of those volunteers. We like him too. He's an active board member. He's a volunteer speaker. He is the 2016 Oklahoma City Walk Chair. He is, once again, one of the top walk fundraisers in the country. In fact, Herb finished in the top 20 nationally twice this year. He finished third for raising almost $79,000 for the Oklahoma City Walk. And he also finished 20th overall after raising more than $30,000 for the event in the Woodlands, Texas. Herb was the top fundraiser for both of those events. So, as you can imagine, we have no problem adding more zeros to the salary of his unpaid internship. So on behalf of our board of directors and our staff, it's a privilege for me to share Herb with all of you today. So would you please welcome Herb Magley.
Thanks, Mark, for putting me in that precarious position of being between 1,000 people and their dinner. You are my heroes. Every one of you. The Alzheimer's Association, all of you, you are the perfect recipe to handle this disease. A perfect blend of care and support, research, fundraising, advocacy, volunteerism. And I have but one simple plea for everybody: never give up. If it weren't for you, it would be hopeless for millions of us out here. You have been given a most difficult task, working with people who have received a death sentence, and you perform it extremely well. I know, because I've been on the receiving end for the past 11 years. One day, as a result of your research to find a cure, a victim might be told what a stroke survivor hears today. Gail Magley, we're going to administer this plaque-busting drug and you will be just fine. Or maybe what a cancer survivor hears today. Gail Magley, we're happy to tell you that your Alzheimer's is in remission. When a cure is found, it will be because of you, the efforts of the Alzheimer's Association. But for now, there are no survivors for Alzheimer's. Being a caregiver for my wife, I have held the Yellow's Promise flower for our walks. It turned purple last month. On December 13th. My beautiful 54-year-old wife, Gail, was a speech pathologist, master's degree, straight A's, the brains of our family unit of 5, and hey, she even laughed at my humor. Life was good. Then one day in 2005, the love of my life came home from school with Alzheimer's. Our world came crashing down around us. It took another year for the doctors to make the formal diagnosis. After receiving that diagnosis, we felt like modern-day lepers, pushed away and isolated by a society that did not want to deal with us. 11 years later, my best friend lost 125 pounds when she forgot how to eat. In between was that undignified, unspeakable, inhumane journey. But in the midst of that journey, miraculously, there you were, the Alzheimer's Association, walking down that path with us. You were there when others turned their backs. You gave us your shoulders to cry on, and we overflowed oceans with our tears. You cared for and counseled us when no one else knew what to do with us. You provided a younger onset support group for us, and there we found a new set of friends, people we could share with, people who understood us, people who were on the same journey. The Alzheimer's Association, you saved my life. But you didn't stop there. You created an itch that I just have to scratch. You created a burning desire within me to do something about this monster. You made me quit feeling sorry for myself. You helped me regain my sense of humor. You helped me become a better caregiver, to find ways to ease Gail's pain. I found that if I could make Gail laugh, the sun would shine, and if for just that moment, all was right with our world again. Allow me to end this speech with a touch of that humor. When Alzheimer's made it so that Gail could no longer do her favorite thing, read books, I decided that I could do that for her. I would get us both ready for bed. At that point in time, I was bathing her, dressing her, brushing her teeth. I'd tuck her into bed and lay down beside her. Now, honestly, ladies, Alzheimer's or not, you'd pay good money for that treatment, right? I would read a book for her until one of us fell asleep. And of course, I had to read her books. And one night, I picked out a Nora Roberts book. It was my first Nora Roberts book. I had no idea what I was in for. The first few chapters went by just fine, and then up pops the love scene. As I read aloud things that, in some places might be considered inappropriate, my voice trailed off, and I said to myself, I'm not going to read this stuff out loud. I looked at Gail to see if she was asleep, and she was, so I skipped that next page. But I realized it wasn't just that page, it was the next page, and the next page, and the next page. 4 pages. I did earmark those pages. And I decided that I would not be the first one that fell asleep that night. So after Gail fell asleep, I went back to the earmarked pages, and I read the love scene, all 4 pages of the love scene. And when I finished reading, I frowned, I shook my head, I looked over at Gail, who was still sound asleep, and I said out loud, well, Gail, that was fiction, because we've done all this before, and no way did it take us 4 pages. So that night, I realized where some of the passion in our marriage had come from. Thank you, Nora Roberts. And I made a mental note that if Gail and I ever got a redo of our life together, my first chore would be to fill our house with every Nora Roberts book ever written. Well, if you remember nothing else from what I've said, remember this. Don't stop caring for us and supporting us. Don't stop feverishly looking for that cure. Don't stop raising funds to keep those 2 well-oiled machines running efficiently. Don't stop advocating to Congress. And don't stop being my heroes. Never give up. And thank you for being there for us.